This is Pixelated Audio, episode 106, and today we're doing a holiday-themed expansion pack. All right, welcome back to Pixelated Audio, video game music and retro gaming podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Brian. This is Gene. And today we are taking kind of a holiday break and playing a bunch of tracks. This is an expansion pack, so it's very loose. And we got some great stuff lined up for you guys today. I don't really know. I know you told me your tracks, but they're still kind of a mystery to me. I didn't listen to them all. So
yeah, I decided to lean really hard into the winter and Christmas theme, so most of mine are really on the nose.
Yeah. So, you know, the holiday season is right around the corner. This episode's going to come out, I think, just a few days before Christmas.
That's the plan?
That's the plan, if we can get our act together. Tell me about your holiday. What's the Gene family traditions? What kind of stuff do you guys do?
You know, it's really funny. I don't actually celebrate Christmas. Our family's Russian, so anybody out there who's Russian, you know that Christmas is actually more like a New Year's thing. So it's a little later. You have a guy named Father Frost.
Father Frost?
He's basically
okay.
Santa Claus, non-denominational. Same gifts and all that. They just got it pushed out. So you got like a really long New Year's holiday, and Christmas is kind of like not a big deal, like 24th, 25th. But we have basically the same traditions. But I wouldn't say I'm like super big into Christmas, but something about Christmas music does. It works for me. I like it.
Oh, yeah. I you know, it's funny because I don't normally listen to like pop and anything, not really like radio stuff.
Yeah.
But like I'm a sucker for Christmas, like, you know, holiday hits or whatever. Like I put that stuff on like starting in December, and I usually get sick of it right before Christmas and can't listen to it again for 12 months.
Pretty much. We get sick of that stuff pretty early in our household too.
Yeah. Even Eiko, my wife, she's Japanese, so like Christmas was never a big thing for her when she was growing up. But like, yeah, she got suckered in by me, and now she's like listening to holiday stupid music as well. So
we have our own little holiday Christmas albums we put on when we're putting up the tree, you know, like.
Oh, you guys do a tree?
Yeah, we have this like fake tree that we've had for like 10 years now. We just keep putting it up, same decorations.
We always get a 3-foot tree. It's like really tiny, but you know, that way it's easy to like take home and then throw away when you got to put it on the curb. So
yeah, we just got a bag. We stuff it in a corner of the apartment somewhere,
and then just keep it for the next year.
Pretty much.
Cool. Yeah. So today we're going to be listening to some kind of holiday themed, Christmassy, or not even really Christmassy, wintry holiday stuff. So whatever denomination you are or whatever holiday you celebrate, I think all this music fits for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah, got some chilly sounds, some sort of peaceful melodies.
So when you first said, "Hey, dude, we got to do a holiday expansion pack," I was like, "No, I despise them." But you were like, oh, "I got some good tracks. You know, this should be fun." And yeah, I was sold, and I was like, "Okay, let's put something together." I think was it a year ago or 2 years ago? No, it was 2 years ago. we did the Days Before Christmas soundtrack.
Yeah.
What a goofy soundtrack. There's how many Jingle Bell tracks do we play in that soundtrack?
I made sure this time. I was thinking about it. I should do some covers. No, this time nothing. All original tracks.
All original stuff.
Well, okay, that's not exactly true. I got one exception in there.
Yeah,
but.
okay. Well, I got some really great stuff today too. So the first track was my pick, and that was from Stardew Valley. I'm sure whoever has played Stardew Valley maybe not recognize that track, but as soon as you hear it, you can just feel the crop starting to grow. It's a really great soundtrack. It's very mellow, and it gives this sense, like almost a sensation of, the old Harvest Moon games. And I think that's what the developer was going for when this game was originally designed. And he had that in mind. So the track is called Icicle Mines. And so it's not necessarily a wintry track, but as you dig deeper into the mines, you start going through different kind of areas, like a lava area and like this icicle area. And this plays there. It's very mellow, calming, kind of like twinkly, like icicles are, drops are just coming off the ceiling. And it's a really nice track. And about 30 seconds in, it picks up and you get that nice kind of drum beat behind it and stuff. And so I really like that.
Yeah, it's got a bit of I wouldn't say a demo scene vibe, but there's something about the synths. It's a little bit different than your typical video game music, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah. And this game is pretty incredible. I didn't, I remember hearing a lot of people saying, oh, Stardew Valley is great and stuff. And I didn't know what the hype was all about. And I think it was on sale one day on Switch. So I bought it for Switch. And I started playing. I couldn't put it down. And I played this game. Even my kid was like super into it and just having a blast watching me go through it. And it very much takes all the best stuff out of the old Harvest Moon games and none of the bad stuff. Except, there's the repetition is kind of still there, but it's fun. They do it in a fun way.
I'm afraid to pick it up for exactly that reason. Like, I got hooked on the original Harvest Moon way back in the day, and I would play that game obsessively because it's like, oh, I gotta dig up my ground, I gotta deliver my crops, I gotta go to the market.
Well, see, and this actually, it does take some of that out of it. So it's not as okay, it's still repetitive, but like there is some joy in that kind of soothing, repetitive task. It's not like boring. It's just right.
Like you zone out and you just do it.
Water your crops, harvest, plant, sow, do all that stuff that I would never do in real life because I can't grow plants. I tried to grow tomatoes last year. And
I
die
failed out in the wilderness. I
know. Anyway, so let's talk about this game a little bit. It was originally released on Steam and also for the Xbox One in 2016, developed by Concerned Ape and published by Chucklefish. And Concerned Ape is actually just an alias for Eric Barone. He is the one-man army behind this game. Yeah, he did all of the artwork, which is incredible. The artwork is very, very good. He did all of the music, all of the programming, everything. And I guess he graduated in 2011 from the University of Washington, Tacoma, with a computer science degree. And he was looking for a job in the industry. And he ended up working as an usher at a theater instead.
Huh.
Yeah. So he was looking to improve his skills and started working on this game. I guess he was a huge Harvest Moon fan and wanted to kind of do something that was better than the original games. Because I think a lot of Harvest Moon fans would agree that the series kind of started going downhill after the Back to Nature game.
Yeah,
did you ever play that?
I played them every once in a while. Pick up one of the newer ones and sort of be a little bit annoyed that quality of life improvements are still not there, or like the core gameplay is still fun.
Right.
But yeah, I can totally see why somebody's like, why don't we just do this but get rid of the bad parts and lean in more to the fun parts?
Right. Now, I played Harvest Moon, the original one, for the Super Nintendo, and then I played the Harvest Moon 64. And I thought those were great. And then I think I tried like another version. It just kind of seemed like they weren't doing anything new. They were kind of changing the graphics a little bit, but nothing was really changing. So
yeah, you can play as a girl character,
boy character,
something like. Yeah, there's like some minor differences, but not much really changed. Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't until, did you ever play Rune Factory?
A tiny bit, not really.
So Rune Factory was for the DS, and it was like Harvest Moon, but with like fighting element in it. And I guess he took a lot of inspiration from that as well, as well as like Animal Crossing and Minecraft, Terraria, some other games that feature some of the same stuff that was kind of incorporated into Stardew Valley.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but altogether, it's a really amazing title. It's very well done. There's a lot of stuff to do. It doesn't get repetitive in the sense of the day-to-day story stuff. So there's a lot of stuff you can explore, a lot of stuff you want to like go look for. It doesn't have, it doesn't focus too heavily on the farming and stuff aspect. I mean, of course that's important because you need to get money and stuff, but you just do that stuff fast, and it kind of takes a small, like, a minute of your time, and then you go out and do other stuff. Like I said, the mines, and there is a fighting element in the mines and stuff. So there's so much that you can really do in this game, and there's a lot of like dialogue and interesting people. You can, marry anybody in town. You can create, all these other relationships. And if you have, I think it's like $10 or something. If you have $10 and you have a Nintendo Switch, pick it up. Feels right at home there. They just released a multiplayer pack, so you can play with up to 4 friends at a time. You can even marry your friend in the game, like a real human. So buy the game and I'll marry you. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I may pick up the game now that you've sold me on it, actually.
Yeah, no, it's really good. So anyways, I've been going on about Stardew Valley. What do you got next for us?
So I've got some pretty stereotypical picks, to be honest. You mentioned Harvest Moon, and I did take a bit of a sneak peek at your tracks, and I was thinking, that's right, the Harvest Moon series.
You cheater.
I know, right? There's so much good music in there, and I remember the first one being great, and I went back to the first, and it's okay, the original Super Nintendo one. So I went through every single Harvest Moon game, listening to the various winter themes, and I settled on this one from Story of Seasons, the 3DS one, the first 3DS one. It's still the Harvest Moon series, but this was the one where they changed the name. Some weird stuff with the license. I don't know exactly what happened, because there's a new game called Harvest Moon, but it's a different series. It's like 3D, and you run around in like more of an open world kind of thing. But this is like the continuation of those original Harvest Moon games that was like a million of them.
Right.
So this is the winter track composed by Riyou Kinugasa and Noriko Ishida for Story of Seasons on the 3DS. That was the winter track from Story of Seasons on the 3DS, composed by Riyou Kinugasa and Noriko Ishida. This one really stood out to me. Of all the tracks that I was listening to in the various Harvest Moon games, like, they all kind of vary in style. Like, some of them are almost like classical, a little cheesy. This one just had this feeling of, I don't know, like, you ever watch those 80s movies where somebody's just like walking through the cold and, they're like pulling up their jacket just a little bit more because it's just like a little bit cold.
Well, all the time. That was me last night.
Of course, but it's like, it's a lonely kind of cold, right? It's not that it's cold outside, it's that you're lonely inside.
That was me last night.
What was it?
No.
Did you do something to get in the doghouse?
No, this is no, everything's cool. No, this is a great track, man. I know that the games have kind of taken a turn, but the music hasn't. I think the music has been pretty solid, and I've listened to a lot of the newer soundtracks, and they're all really good. And this is just, I haven't played this game, so I can't really speak for it. But I'm looking at some of the screenshots here, and it looks really nice. It looks really good. And so I think that being consistent with the sound has been at least the forte of the series, or the spin-off series, or whatever it is now. So yeah, I liked it.
It was a toss-up for me between this one and the DS Harvest Moon. They both very different styles, but this one just spoke to me in a different sort of way. It felt, I don't know, it was holiday, but not exactly like Christmas, and it just, I don't know. So, like from the first few seconds I was listening to it, I thought this one's going in.
Nice, nice. No, I liked it. I thought it was a really cool track, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if I could go back to this series, especially after playing Stardew Valley.
Probably not. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. You take care of crops, your livestock. Maybe you get married and start a family. It's like an annual series. You pick one up because it's the thing that just got released, and you play it because that's what you want to do. You don't necessarily want something new. You want it's kind of like the Dragon Warrior series a little bit.
Yeah. It's kind of like a safety blanket game that,
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I know there's a huge fandom around the series still, and, regardless of what you think about the later games, there's still a big fandom around it. And so it's just, I have no beef with it. Moved on.
Exactly. I don't usually find myself coming back to these things, not for any particular reason. It's just, I don't really, that's not really what I go for usually. Right. But
so tell me about these composers. Are they the same people from other games, or?
No, actually, they're not really associated with too many of the Harvest Moon games. The most notable ones are, Noriko Ishida was the composer, or maybe arranger, really, for Final Fantasy V Advance and Final Fantasy III for 3DS.
Okay.
And also worked on World of Final Fantasy.
Okay.
What's really interesting is both of the composers were actually a lot of the times music programmers, so they are maybe like junior level people that didn't always get an opportunity to actually
compose music. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they Noriko Ishida did the programming for Dragon Quest Heroes 1, 2, and Dragon Quest Builders. They're all fairly recent games.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they've worked together a lot, but in sort of like on and off again. And Ryo Kinugasa was the composer for Deadly Premonition, which came out about like 8 years ago. Sort of like one of these Twin Peaks kind of horror games.
Right.
Kind of an eerie soundtrack.
I never played that, actually.
I've been meaning to play that one for a while. It just seems like it's right up my alley, like a weird kind of off-kilter story. Not quite horror, not quite a suspense, a little bit. Everything's just a little off.
I get you.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Like $9.99 and stuff like that. Like.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And Ryo also was similar, a sound designer, music programmer, and worked on some of the following games: Resident Evil 0 and Revelations, Game & Watch Gallery 4, and also Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. Not as a composer, but just, as assistant sound designer. Lots of these little, subtasks.
Oh, I see.
And they both worked on Dragon Quest 3 and 7, the new releases that just came out in the last couple of years.
Oh, okay. So just,
Staff.
Yeah, staff.
Yeah. But they did a great job with the soundtrack. Like, I would go back and listen to this one just in my spare time.
Yeah, no,
sure.
it was really good. I actually want to listen to more of the soundtrack, because this kind of music is really nice to, especially right now around the holidays, nice to have in the background, and while you work or while you clean the house or whatever. It's nice stuff, and I like it. You ready to move on?
Yes, let's go on to what's your next pick?
So the next track I have is kind of ridiculous. It doesn't. I was really reaching here for a Christmassy kind of track, a holiday track. So the game is titled Guilty Crown Lost Christmas.
Okay.
So that's how I found it. The track is titled 11 because there's no names as far as I can tell, but it's a lot more lively track. So we've been playing kind of these more mellow tracks. This is going to wake you up a little bit. So let's take a listen to track 11 from Guilty Crown Lost Christmas.
Persia: The Sands of Time, starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh man, that was Guilty Crown, The Lost Christmas, track 11. Now, I gotta say, I listened to this and I was confused, man. Like, how many different songs were in that one song?
At least 3.
Yeah, at least 3. And so I thought, okay, maybe they were doing something where they put these tracks in a single track and they would reference them in different spots. Maybe that's the case. However, there is some coherence between like those kind of bombastic parts that leads me to believe it's actually just one track.
I think so. Yeah, the transitions are pretty seamless.
Yeah, you get this clear break, but then that bass line continues actually in the strong section. And so when I listened, I was like, you know what? This is just one track, man. This is just one crazy track. But it does kind of give this feeling of like wintry, but almost like a snowstorm or something.
I got surprised when it got slow. Usually it's the other way around, the track starts slow and it gets fast, but I thought the track was over and then it's like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? And it picks up into this really interesting, I had no idea. I was totally in the dark on this whole track, this whole game. Now I want to hear more.
It's pretty incredible. The soundtrack, there's a lot more vocals in the other tracks. And so I didn't want to play that because I'm not really a huge fan of vocal music. And that doesn't mean I despise it. This one really, and this track alone actually was just incredible. So I wanted to make sure we had that in. But the soundtrack is pretty solid and it's very well composed. Problem is I couldn't find a composer.
Really?
Nope, could not find a composer. There's not a lot of information on this game. It was a kind of a spin-off of an anime. Anyway, so this was originally released on the PC in 2012 by a company called Nitro Plus, and it was both developed and published by them. They've done a few other titles, but it's mostly like these novel games, right? So these visual novels. This game itself is a visual novel, and it's based on the anime. I have a little snippet here about the story. So it says, before the events of the main story on December 24th, 2029, a biological hazard known as the Apocalypse Virus plunges Japan into a state of chaos. This event is later named the Lost Christmas Incident. Unable to contain this threat, Japan sought international help, and the United Nations dispatches an organization known as GHQ to their aid. And GHQ successfully contains the outbreak and restores a level of normalcy at the cost of Japan's independence. 10 years later, a resistance organization known as the Funeral Parlor wages a campaign against GHQ to liberate Japan once more. So it's this...
Sounds suspiciously like a certain basketball RPG we just talked about in the last episode. No, I mean, I'm joking, but that sounds like a really interesting plot.
I bet the anime is really interesting. I don't watch a lot of anime, and it's not.
It seems really exciting anyway.
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of anime, and it's not because I don't like it. It's because just lack of time. But it sounds really awesome. Sounds really cool.
So I looked these guys up, and I thought I'd heard the name Nitro Plus before, and they partnered with 5PB to publish Steins Gate.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, where have I heard that name before? So
sorry, I should have brought that up.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's like it's not super common, but I know I've seen some of their other games, and Chaos Head is another one. I've seen that one around. Those are probably the bigger ones if you've played visual novels. I started Steins Gate. I liked what I played of it. I would definitely be interested in seeing what this game is about.
I thought Steins Gate was pretty incredible, actually.
It's one of the best ones out there in terms of visual novels.
And we got a good composer behind it, too.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, Abe-san.
Anytime we can bring up Abe-san is a good day.
Yeah, so this game it's pretty funny, though, because they really kind of go to town on the whole Christmas theme. They really do. So, like, the main character is Scrooge, and he's a protagonist, too. The other protagonist, a female, is Carol, and then there's present and past. Those are all characters.
I don't see a connection here.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Anyways, so interesting. I'd never heard of the game before. This is the first time, kind of looking into this episode, and I was kind of like, wow, it never got an English release, as far as I know. But
I'm surprised you couldn't find a composer because it's a recent game, and I know that happens still.
For these expansion packs, I don't try to dig too deep into, maybe if I really did some stalking or something.
We'll put it in the notes if we can find it, for sure.
If we can find it. But anyways, let's move on. What do you got next?
All right. So for a lot of people, this is probably old hat, but for me, this is new. This is from Animal Crossing New Leaf. I did play the original Animal Crossing, but after our MagWest episode, I actually went through and started listening to a lot of the Animal Crossing music because we talked a lot about Totaka.
Right. And,
of course, easy fit. There's a track here called Toy Day, which is the Christmas Eve theme that plays most likely, I haven't played this one, but in the in-game clock when it's Christmas Eve, I would guess.
Yeah. I remember that, man. I played on Christmas Eve, like back in the GameCube days. So I probably heard this at one point. Yeah.
So here is Toy Day or Christmas Eve for Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS. That was Toy Day, Christmas Eve from Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS, composed by Manaka, Kataoka, Atsuko, Asahi, and Kazumi Totaka.
What instrument was that? That kind of it's like an accordion.
It was either an accordion or a hurdy-gurdy. I'm not always the person to ask about these. The sort of the organ
exactly
grinder.
The person to ask.
Well,
between us,
I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of all instruments, but yeah, I mean, like that's the organ grinder.
Monkey
instrument thing.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. We talked about this on the MagWest episode. Shout out to Michaela. They tend to use a lot of weird instruments intentionally in Animal Crossing, just for a little bit of color and just to be a little offbeat.
I think this track is awesome. I love the music in Animal Crossing. I really do. It's very simplistic. The stereo effects, the stereo panning, and the time that the instruments come in. Everything feels like when it's ready to come in, it'll just kind of da da da, and leave.
I've always loved the Animal Crossing series because I think Nintendo, of all of the games companies, has always really appreciated music in games, and I don't just mean good music, but music and how it integrates into games, and the whole music every hour, and music for special events, and all of these little Easter eggs and stuff, and it's the thing that keeps me playing the Animal Crossing games more than anything else.
Did you play New Leaf?
I did a little tiny bit. I've played the Wild World actually quite a bit.
Okay.
And the GameCube one, but I haven't played New Leaf on the 3DS. Just a demo of it, 15 minutes. I have a buddy of mine who lends me games sometimes, and I played it. It was fun, but I kind of moved on because I was doing something else.
I'll get really into the Animal Crossing games for a while, but I don't keep up. I think I played New Leaf for maybe I don't know, a few months, pretty solid. Because that came out what, like...
It was a while back.
It was like 7 years ago, right?
2013, it looks like.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, 2012 in Japan, 2013 everywhere else.
Okay.
But yeah, it was it wasn't a launch title, but I think it was the first Animal Crossing for 3DS.
Right.
Because there was another one, or there's a re-release, I think, of New Leaf.
It was fun. Like, I think, me and James played that a lot, too. We were really into it and making money and, like, selling... Because I think that's the one where you could go to the island, right?
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to tell me.
Okay. I think that's the one where you went to the island and you can get like all the coconuts or something and sell them for like a ton of bank. It was fun.
I just really love the overall atmosphere that the Animal Crossing games have. They're so quirky and cute and innocent, and there's just not enough games like that these days.
And it's funny too because, I was in when I played Animal Crossing, when I played New Leaf, I must have been almost 30 at the time, and I still found so much enjoyment in it. And if you really think about it, the games are pretty simple. You go fishing, you collect
shells and
collect stuff and pay off your mortgage, but pay off your house and additions. But even with that simplicity, even with that, what seemed, I guess, when you really think about it, it's very, very basic. There's so much content that you can get out of it. There's so much you can enjoy, I guess, for the games.
It captures that spirit that the best Nintendo games do, which is a kid can appreciate it and really enjoy it, but an adult will also have some enjoyment out of it.
Right.
They're not just looking at this as like some stupid kids game. There's fun jokes, and the music's great, and it's beautiful and colorful, and there's a lot to do. I mean, I probably wouldn't hold my attention as much as if I was like 12, but at the same time, if somebody handed it to me on a car trip for 6 hours, I'd probably play it the whole time,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'd have to be 12. I'd get pretty absorbed into it.
I can, definitely. I'm not saying any judgment, if I got into this game, I can imagine getting sucked into it for kind of a while, too.
Right.
And that's kind of how these city building or house building or whatever kind of games that Harvest Moon and Animal Crossing kind of are.
Man, I was so sucked into Fantasy Life. Did you ever play that?
I did. That one actually, that one hooked me because it had some more combat mechanics.
And it had the, you could be like a carpenter or like a seamstress, or it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I got to like the 3rd level of gear, and, I was like, just quickly looked at a guide, and there's like 10 levels, and I'm like, I need to stop because I know where this is going.
Yeah. It's going to last forever.
Well, let's talk about the composers a little bit. I mean, not too much because they're all powerhouses.
Yeah.
Everybody on this staff is like just incredible. We got Manaka Kataoka, who wrote music for Wii Fit, Animal Crossing City Folk, so that's probably why some of the tracks sound familiar, Zelda Spirit tracks, Legend of Zelda Spirit tracks, and Breath of the Wild, actually. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yeah, some of the music for that. We got Atsuko Asahi, who did Steel Diver, was actually her first game.
Wow, okay.
Also worked on Animal Crossing New Leaf, Pikmin 3, Wind Waker, the remake or the remaster, the new Steel Diver game, Sub Wars, Mario Kart 8. And
fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah, I know. There's so much good music, and I was wondering why there was actually a lot of Animal Crossing music in Mario Kart 8, but now it makes sense.
Right.
And I don't even want to get into Totaka. Like, just look up his Wikipedia if you want to know. That guy has been involved with Nintendo since like 1990.
Maybe if we do like a showcase on like one of his, we must have done some Totaka like episodes. I mean, we're at 106 now. There's got to be one episode where we just went to town on his library. But
stay tuned for the Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins episode. Actually, maybe, I don't know. It's a great soundtrack, but
it is.
I'm looking at the list, and it's giving me a headache just to scroll through it. There's so much work
for days. Yeah. Animal Crossing, great game. You ready to move on?
I am.
Okay, so this next track, it's an incredible track. It's from Castle Crashers, and the track's titled Winter Bliss. And we'll listen to that. We'll be right back. All right, that was Winter Bliss from Castle Crashers on the PS3, Xbox 360, macOS, Windows, and Xbox One. This was originally released in 2008 on the 360, 2010 for the PS3, and later for the computers. It was developed and published by The Behemoth, and then published, obviously, for the home consoles by Microsoft and Sony. Pretty awesome track, right?
I'm ready to kill some ice golems.
Yeah.
That got me pumped.
Very cool. So this was composed, and I only have an alias here. It's by Cycerin or Cycerin. So I found like his blog page and everything, or her blog page, and just couldn't find any information. All I know is that he or she is from Oslo, Norway, goes by Fastland on SoundCloud, and this game is kind of interesting because I believe it was originally developed as a Flash game.
I don't know if this one was.
Maybe not this exact one, but it spawned from a lot of things in the Flash community.
Well, yeah, this is Tom Fulp, right? He's the guy who developed Newgrounds, or was like, if not the founder, super active. I'm pretty sure he was the founder.
Right. And Newgrounds.com, if you're not familiar with it, it is a huge Flash game community, and there's composers, artists, programmers. It's got a huge crowd, and people can post their own stuff, their music and whatever. And I guess a lot of the music in this game is from artists from Newgrounds.com, and that's where I found this track.
It doesn't surprise me. Super Meat Boy started as a Flash game, probably real big on Newgrounds.
It was Newgrounds also spawned Alien Hominoid. If you ever played that game,
I think that's also another Tom Fulp game, actually.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
And so this website, I was never really big into the Flash games, but there's a huge appreciation on my part, because I think that it's really got a lot of people into programming or composing or just game design in general. And this is a tool to make that reality come true for a lot of people. And so these communities spawning all these different titles, it's a pretty awesome thing.
I used to visit it from time to time back in the day, but to your point, it was a really fertile ground for a lot of really creative folks, and there's silly gross out humor and all that stuff on there too, but
of course
a lot of really talented designers who are making games today got their start here. And the good stuff always floats to the top, and we have so many great games and such awesome music to listen to as a result. So
yeah,
can't complain too much.
Did you ever play Castle Crashers?
I did, actually, quite a lot. 4-player back on the 360. It was a ton of fun. Yeah,
I didn't play it until the PS3, but I remember when it came out, I was like, I think it might have been a PSN freebie or something at one point.
It might have been.
So
I picked it up for cheap because it was always going on sale, and it's just like, easy to get. Hey, let's just go over and play a couple of rounds, and at the end of the level you can kind of bash on each other, so it kind of has that built into it.
right So I think it's like after you beat the boss, the damsel that you save or whatever
makes you fight to the death.
She'll make you fight to the death. It's great, dude. I love that mechanic. Yeah, it's a fun game. The soundtrack's really, really well done, and again, it's just by a lot of these artists who are making stuff for Flash games. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what do you got next for us?
Well, speaking of Flash games, this isn't a Flash game, but it's also an indie PC game. We have Do Not Push Start Till Christmas, the title theme from Merry Gear Solid 2, Ghosts of Christmas Past.
What? Okay. All right.
Let's get a listen to that.
All right, let's take a listen to that.
That was Do Not Push Start Till Christmas from Metal Gear Solid 2, Ghosts of Christmas Past, composed by Gordon McNeil for the PC.
Are you serious? Like, is this a thing?
Absolutely serious.
And there's like a title screen. It says, it's the full...
Deadly serious.
It's a full-blown thing.
So, I can't believe I'm saying this. The Metal Gear Solid games were a series of fan games made in 2006 and 2009 by Arthur Lee, or Mr. Podunkian. He was an indie PC game dev. He's still around, but he made a couple of games, and these were sort of his biggest ones. And this one came out Christmas 2009. You can still download it today at his website, superfundungeonrun.com.
So downloading this.
It's great. It's the first one is really, really simple, but the second one is like this full-fledged game where you have Otacon is coming in to give you all sorts of stupid holiday advice. You have a camouflage, which is a deer head where you lean against the walls. And so, as long as you pass by the children when they're not looking at you, if you're standing still, they'll just think you're a decoration. You can shoot sleeping gas at the kids to knock them out. You gotta let me read the story for you here. 3 years after the Secret Santa incident, Christmas has never been the same. The number of PNC, Pretty Naughty Children groups, has increased over the years, and the SOC, Spirit of Christmas system is out of balance due to the untimely assassination of Saint Nick. On Christmas Eve, Cold Snake infiltrates Outer Savin Mall to stop the Ghosts of Christmas Past from gaining full control over the SOC system throwing the world into perpetual naughtiness.
Dude, you're killing my throat, man.
Yes, holiday espionage action for anybody who wants to try this game out.
Oh my god. This is a free-to-play game?
It's a freeware game. Yeah, you can play it. It's still available to download. The composer is Gordon McNeil. You might not know the name, but he wrote the music for Cthulhu Saves the World and Breath of Death 7, which those games are all on sale on Steam for like $1 for both of them all the time. They're like classic JRPGs, pretty humorous. They made the rounds about 5 or 6 years ago. They were huge. Like,
really, I never even heard of them.
I feel like they were always just in Steam lists, like, oh, pick this game up on super sale, back when they were doing crazy discounts on Steam games.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, so like pretty traditional kind of tongue-in-cheek JRPGs. So these guys have worked together quite a bit.
Okay.
He also did the music for another indie game that Arthur Lee did called Streamers, which I'm also a big fan of. It's a kind of a mix between Bionic Commando and I don't know what else. It's kind of an original game. You have like a hook shot and you can shoot diagonally, and you have to navigate.
Sounds exactly like Bionic Commando.
It is, but the levels are kind of those like single screen, you die and then you come back to the checkpoint and you have to make it to the end. Kind of like Meat Boy, sort of.
Okay.
Or no, actually, the game that actually draws more inspiration is VVVVVV.
Yeah.
6 Vs. So like you have the checkpoint at the beginning of the stage and then you get to the next screen and there's another checkpoint and you kind of die over and over and over again. There's actually a bonus mode in that game where you have a character that controls, flips gravity, so you go up and down instead of using a hook shot. Really good game developer. I'm kind of sad to see. I haven't looked around too much, but on his website, it looks like the last game he made was like 2010, 2011.
Oh, so it's been a while.
It has, yeah, and it's a shame. Really talented developer. Actually, same thing with Gordon McNeil. I haven't seen him doing a lot of music in the meantime, but props to this guy. Definitely marrying Christmas with Metal Gear Solid. Who could?
I know. Who would have thought? I seriously, I had no idea this was a thing.
It works, but in like the goofiest way possible. I love it.
That's pretty funny. Oh my god! All right, cool track though.
Yeah. No, it's there's some musical chops there. Definitely, it's making an arrangement of a track, especially mixing those two and making it still sound pretty good, is harder than it sounds.
I wouldn't say that I loved it, but
yeah,
it was. I was laughing because the Metal Gear theme would come in and like. There's just all these little kind of nuances to Metal Gear, like very like metallic, like like a steel hammer hitting like a piece of sheet metal, in the middle of the track, and just it has all these little things. But then you hear like the sleigh bells in the background. I was like, what the hell's going on? Cool though.
Yeah.
Cool
It's not the world's best track, but I couldn't do a Christmas episode without playing it. So
you were waiting all night to play that track.
You know it.
Yeah. All right, you ready to move on to the next one?
Totally.
All right, so I've been playing a lot of kind of more, I wouldn't say classical music, but like it's been more like kind of theatrical, I think, at this point, or more subdued, more mellow. This next track kind of jumps back into the chip tune kind of sound, right? And we're going to listen to Snow Bros 2 with New Elves. The track is called Yukidama-Ondo, which is the ending of the game, composed by Osamu Oota. So let's take a listen and we'll be right back. That was Yukidama-Ondo, which is the ending track for Snow Bros 2 with New Elves. That is the full title, with New Elves.
You know, I never played the second Snow Bros. I was wondering, because I played a decent amount of the first one, but I don't even remember hearing about this one. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I played it in MAME only. I was not a huge fan of Snow Bros, the original. I mean, it was a cool
fun game.
Yeah, it was fun. But I wasn't in love with it or anything. And this kind of popped up. I was thinking Snow Bros, actually. And so I listened to the soundtrack, the first soundtrack, and I was just like, keep looking.
Yeah.
And so I looked in this one. There's a rip on VGM rips, and I was like, okay, perfect. And listened to the tracks, and a lot of them really kind of goofy like this one. But this one, just, I don't know, just...
It's playful. It's upbeat.
Touched me in all the right spots.
You know,
I'm
wondering, what is that style? It's like traditional Japanese music that this is kind of... There's like a certain style of music that I hear come up from time to time. It has that feel to it. Like it's, got to have a triple time, and it's got a lot of like percussion.
Almost like a ragtime to it?
I feel like it comes up whenever there's sort of like a traditional Japanese festival theme. Like
there's a lot of festival music, yeah.
Yeah, maybe like just Matsuri or like festival.
Yeah, could be it.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. This game though, it was it was fun. I played it the other day just to kind of go through it for this episode, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's Snow Bros. It's the same kind of thing. I think you get some different characters and stuff like that, but otherwise, gameplay, mechanics. If you've ever played the original, you could give this one a shot if you're into that, and let us know if you like it. Real quick, the composer Osamu Oota, he worked for Toplan as a composer and a sound designer. Worked on not as many titles as I thought, actually. I've seen his name pop up, but it's actually a lot less than unless I remember. Let's see, he worked on Pyros for the arcade, Rally Bike, Twin Hawk, Snow Bros, the original, and that's probably why the name is familiar to me. And then did Snow Bros for the NES and the Mega Drive. So those ports and stuff. But other than that, not a whole lot under his belt.
Yeah, I didn't recognize the name when I saw it for the first time. But I think Toplan was one of those smaller devs. They tended to just hire people for a couple of games. They didn't really have as like a stable lineup of composers.
Yeah, and I don't really have credits for all the stuff he did sound design on too. So there might be a lot larger list. But I'm sure his name has popped up, and it just looked familiar to me. I don't really see that name too often. So, yeah. Anyways,
yeah, I mean it works. It's like Bubble Bobble or some of these other games. It's kind of a classic arcade.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a lot like it's single screen. Did you ever play? We did a Halloween episode like 3 or 4 years ago with a game called Nightmare in the Dark. It's very similar.
I played it briefly on an emulator, and I really liked it. The animation in that game's great.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that or Bubble Boppo or anything like that. So yeah. Yeah, cool. What do you got for us? This is your last track, right?
This is my last track, and, you know, I've been playing some stuff that I'm not familiar with, a little bit of a jokey track, but I couldn't get through the show without playing one of my all-time favorite, what I would consider Christmas classics. So we got Dream Dreams in Silent Memory from Nights into Dreams. It's not from the Christmas Nights.
I was wondering if that was gonna grace this episode.
It's
a great soundtrack.
That game, it just sucked me in. Like when I first turned it on, just that animation and the music and the gameplay, I just was transfixed. And it's not the most sophisticated game. There's not all that much to it, but you know, for that couple of hours when you're playing it, you're in the zone.
Right.
So here is Dreams Dreams in Silent Memory from Nights into Dreams, composed by Tomoko Sasaki. That was Dreams Dreams in Silent Memory from Nights into Dreams, composed by Tomoko Sasaki for the Saturn.
Pretty chill track. I like it.
It is. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of versions of this I could have picked. There's the vocal one that's, you know, it's like 5 minutes long, but I really wanted to pick the more laid back, sort of mellow.
It's a good way to end the show.
It is, yeah, and it's still really enjoyable and listenable today. Like, it's just such a great melody.
Yeah. I gotta say, I probably gonna have to pop on Nights into Dreams, the Christmas Nights into Dreams before the new year. This track has got me kind of thinking about it again.
A little nostalgic.
Yeah, a little nostalgic. Yeah, there's I can't remember if it was, I was talking to Ed or if he said it on PTR a long time ago, but there really is two kinds of people. There's the people that like Nights into Dreams, there's people that don't. And
I don't understand the second.
Yeah,
Sorry.
neither do I.
I mean, it's not the most complex game, but like
there's just something magical about it, and until it clicks, like it just, I can see like people would come over and like check it out, and they would just be like, it's just whatever, you know, just kind of flying around collecting balls. But I don't know, there's something more
like
to
a childlike innocence to it, like
right.
The way it, you know, displays dreams. They're very colorful, and like the nightmare creatures, they're not really threatening, but they're like, oh, it's a bad guy, and it feels. It's kind of like when you hear a story from a child's perspective. It has that kind of
right. That's a good way to put it. Anyways, so great way to end the show.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun today. We had a lot of tracks we normally wouldn't play on the show. Not that we wouldn't play them, but a lot of tracks I couldn't see gracing the show easily, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. That Mary Gear Solid track would have a hard time finding its way into most shows. But no, I mean, I enjoyed looking through newer games and seeing things that kind of fit the theme. It's hard initially when you start these things and say, okay, we're going to do a winter theme or a Christmas theme. You're like, well, there's like 4 games that are actually good that have Christmas music. And then you start to stretch the theme a little bit and you can find something. Right.
Yeah, like there was a game that at first I was dead set on playing a game from Santa Claus Jr. on the Game Boy.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That was Alistair Brimble. He did the soundtrack, but it's just I don't know. I really love his music, but that soundtrack it's just And then there was I think it was like Santa Claus, no, Takarabako or something. It was some Japanese Famicom Disk System game, and the music's horrible in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, scratch that. I'm going to have to branch out a little bit here, and that's how I found the that Lost Christmas sound. That was pretty
That
was
one
pretty
was
amazing.
definitely the biggest surprise of the night for me. Like, totally caught me off guard in the best way possible.
Yeah, it was cool. Anyways, so thank you guys so much for listening. Do want to give a few shout outs to some of our new patrons. There is Eno Keskatalo and Jiggin. I think that's how you say it, Jiggin.
I don't know.
Jigin. We want to say thank you so much for your support and helping out the show. That's awesome. If you guys do like the show, you can check out some of our past episodes. We recently did one on Illusion City, which is an incredible soundtrack. So if you haven't heard that one yet, please download it and take a listen. There's just a lot of really great music. We do tear down the hardware a little bit. We play some comparison stuff with all the other releases, and we get pretty deep into the gameplay and some of the other aspects.
If you haven't heard it, episode 99, The Adventures of Little Ralph, was a really great episode and a wonderful surprise. Just so much great music in there.
Oh, yeah. It's got like a dual soundtrack, right?
Yeah, almost one of the first to just say, here's 2 separate soundtracks, and they really didn't have to do that. So, that one was definitely a fun one to do.
Cool. So thank you guys so much for listening. It's been a lot of fun. Played a lot of really great tracks, and we'll see you guys in the new year. Thanks for listening.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, God.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy holidays.
Yeah.
To my non-denominational friends, all that stuff, too.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Of course.